wanna be down with the king.
It's the Sports Kings. Sports Kings. Big Mike.
He might fall off the wagon in the next 10 minutes.
And Rob Calloway.
It's about bringing talent. It's not about all the flash and glitz and glam.
Not your average sports talk show. The Sports Kings.
This is NFL legend, Work Done.
This your boy D. Howard, a.k.a. Superman.
I'm Jerome Bettis, the bus.
It's Cam Newton. Holla at your boy, already.
This is Hank Aaron, and I'm down with the King.
Tell a friend, Kings is back.
What's going on, everybody? Sports Kings Live back at you for a Monday. Coming off Father's Day weekend. Shout out to all the fathers out there doing their thing. We're back. Big Mike, Rob Calloway, the Sports Kings. Being heard via Spreaker.com and the Spreaker app for your Windows, Apple, or your Android device. You guys make sure you guys sign up for your free Spreaker account. Search Sports Kings Live. Follow us and also get involved in the conversation via the interactive chat room. Just hit the little thought bubble and you can be involved in the show as well. Don't forget, you guys can catch us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Follow us at Sports Kings Live. So during the show, if you don't have an account and you can't get to Spreaker, Rob will be tweeting out a link to the actual Spreaker site, so you guys can go ahead and sign up for your free account and give your boys a follow, some likes, and get involved in today's show. All right, speaking of today's show, well, before we get to that, Rob had a long weekend. His birthday was on Saturday. Saw him on IG getting hammered drunk. Hello, you still there? You with me? We're having some technical issues again today with the equipment, whereas I can't hear Rob half the time. Not sure if he can hear me. All right, he'll say something when he finally is able to hear me. Not sure really what's going on here.
Oh, there you
go. All right. Yeah, well, telling people you're getting hammered drunk this weekend for your birthday.
Huh?
I was telling people that you were getting hammered drunk for your birthday this weekend.
I didn't get. Oh, man, don't be telling lies like that. I did not get hammered drunk.
A picture tells 1,000 words.
But I'm saying I was drinking a beer. I mean, that was one beer. One beer don't get me drunk. But big shouts out to dude. I found out what official white people's happy hour is on Friday.
Yeah, everywhere.
No, it's at the Sweetwater Brewery off of Cheshire Bridge in Monroe. Like, dude, you go to the Sweetwater Brewery, for $10 they give you a 12-ounce glass, souvenir glass, and 6 tickets, and you go in and you can have six of their beers, right? They'll pour you up 6 beers. But it's like a party going on out there, and it's like, I was only one of 3 black people,
of course,
and everybody was with me.
And now
it was
let
awesome.
The secret out the bag. The establishment will probably be closed down tomorrow and reopen in a new location by next Friday.
Exactly.
Thanks to you.
Exactly. Yep.
So as far as the show goes today, this whole question of the day thing ain't really working out for me like the way I thought it would. Not initially. I'm gonna keep trying it, keep throwing it out there, and see what kind of fish I catch. Had some good TV watching this weekend. True Detective started back yesterday. The new HBO series Ballers that went down. I was pretty impressed with the first episode.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it wasn't really over the top. It was it was decent. Dwayne The Rock Johnson stars in that joint, and the other crazy dude, I can't remember his name, but he's a crazy SOB from a lot of funny movies. So we'll talk a little bit about that if we have some time. Also, we're going to do definitely on this day where we take a look back in history and give you guys a little bit of a history lesson as far as some of the things that happened in sports on this particular day in the past. Of course, we're gonna say update, or we're gonna forward the story on the last week's South Carolina shooting. Couple of small things going on in the NBA. The NBA draft happens on Thursday. Can't seem to remember where though, but it happens on Thursday. I'm not a big NBA draft guy. I figure out
it's in New York.
Is it?
It's in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
In New York.
I think it's at the what's the name of the spot where the Nets play?
Barclays.
Barclays. Yeah.
So we'll pull up some some mock drafts probably tomorrow or something and try to figure something out. I'm not really a big NBA draft guy myself. I figure out how good these dudes are once they start playing. I mean, especially once you get past 5, it's like, all right, whatever. It's going to be some dude from the Congo, another dude from Spain or something, and another Italian dude involved, and no one's going to know who any of these dudes are, and we'll be talking about suits on Friday, who had the worst suits. So there's that. 80 days till NFL football starts, so I figure sometime here in the near future we'll get you guys ready for some fantasy football. We used to have some fantasy football guys that we mess with. By the way, Rob, the dude's name is Chris Mayer. I saw one of the old emails the other day. That's who I was talking about the other day, who now works for ESPN. When I was bashing Mel Kiper for not doing any of the work and probably having research dudes do it for. He's one of those guys, Chris Mayer. Well, and Major League Baseball gave us something today. Old Pete, Mr. Charlie Hustle, he gave us something today. So, but instead of leading off with that, that's probably the biggest sports story going on today. So we'll definitely hit that first as far as the sports side of things go. And before the end of the show goes, I got some news that I want to share with all you guys, Rob included. That I'll get out the way before we end the show today. But first, all right.
You scaring me, dog.
Don't be scared.
You about to inform people of something, and I don't know what you're informing people of? Okay.
It's part of the process. It's like anything else we do. Spontaneity. It's like just happens.
You better not be like D Wade's daddy and be like you taking your talent to Cleveland, like he did in church the other.
Well, I mean, with the money, yeah, some of that money they got, yeah, I'll be in Cleveland for a couple months a year. Okay, first let's start here with the let's kind of move forward with the whole shooting that happened last Wednesday night. Was it? Was it Wednesday? Well, yeah, that's Bible study night, right? Black Church Bible studies Wednesday.
Yep.
Wednesday night in South Carolina. What's the kid's name? Booth, or what's his name?
Roof.
Dylan Roof.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of morphed. The whole situation kind of morphed into a whole different issue, a kind of a resurrection of a past issue as it relates to the Confederate flag and it being flown outside of the state capitol. Find out some real interesting stuff last night about this flag as well. By the way, today's question of the day was just basically, what are your thoughts on the Confederate flag? Real plain, real simple. Didn't get any answers, but I'll set the topic up, and then I see now, can't hear you. Okay.
Oh yeah, you see it.
And then I'll ask Rob the question. So yeah, an old topic. This is something that's been, kind of like one of those whack-a-mole things. Kind of pops its head up and then goes back now. And then when something happens, people are like, oh my God! By the way, that flag's still there. Found out yesterday that people were talking about how the South Carolina state flag was lowered to half-mast. The United States flag was lowered to half-mast as well, but the Confederate flag wasn't. Well, here's the problem. It's I guess erected in such a way where it can't be. It's like a permanent fixture of how the flag is there. There is no, how you had the rope that you pull on to lower and raise the flag.
Right.
There is not one. It's not one. And for the flag, the law in South Carolina for the flag to be taken down, it takes something like a 3/4 majority to vote for it to even be lowered to half-mast or taken down complete, or to be bothered at all. Excuse me, not to be half-mast or lowered, just to be bothered at all. So I found it to be kind of interesting. But right before we started the show, as a matter of fact, a little while ago, I saw on social media that I saw an ABC News screen capture of the governor, the Republican governor. I think her name is Kathy something or the other.
No, Haley.
Haley.
I want to say Haley Barber, if I'm not mistaken.
Haley.
Let's see.
Let me switch mics real quick. That one had a little bit of noise in it. All right. Haley Barber, you say her name is?
Yeah, I think that's it. Hold on. I know it's Haley something. Go ahead.
She's the Republican governor of South Carolina. And I saw the screen capture of her basically.
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley is her. Yeah.
Hey, what did I say, Kathy?
Yeah.
So she is, I guess, decided to remove the flag. After something like 150 years or something, the flag has been flown. Which I don't know. It's cool, whatever. But I kind of wanted to get other perspectives. That's why I posed the question today, and I want to pose the question to Rob and just asking, like, what are your, I guess, what are your thoughts on the flag as a whole? Not necessarily as it relates to anything, but just the flag as a whole.
Honestly, I'll say this. Honestly, I mean, I know the origins of the flag. I know what the Confederacy was. But in all honesty, man, you talking to a dude that grew up watching the Dukes of Hazzard. I always wanted the General Lee. You talking about a dude that when he got me a big Confederate flag belt buckle, like, it means nothing.
But I mean, how old were you though when you did those? How old were you when you watched the Dukes of Hazzard and got a Confederate belt buckle and those things?
Well, I was a kid when the Dukes of Hazzard was on, but if I catch it now, I'll watch it.
Right.
I was a kid. But when I got that belt buckle, it might have been around the time, I can't even think what that Lil Jon and the East Side Boys CD was. But I saw the one where they had the Confederate flag burning.
I guess
but
what I'm
Lil
asking,
Jon had on.
I should just ask this question. Like, at the time when you did those things, how much understanding did you have of what the Confederate flag was and meant to certain people? I guess that's really what I want to ask you.
Well, okay. As a kid, watching Dukes of Hazzard, I had no idea. I just thought General Lee was cool. But, I mean, I was an adult when I bought the belt buckle. And I know what it means, and I know what it means to certain people. I know the people that are pro-Confederate and the people that are anti-Confederate flag. But again, you talking about a situation where we grew up. I mean, when we were growing up, the Confederate flag, the Stars and Bars was a part of the Georgia State flag as well. So, like I said, it's a part of history. I think that with everything, change is inevitable. Which is how Sonny Perdue ended up getting the Stars and Bars removed from the flag, even though he fooled all of the pro-Confederate voters and told them that he was going to remove it, but he was going to have a special vote where they could vote for it if they wanted it, but that never happened. And so, again, like I said, it's history. And I do understand that you have some people that don't want to see the Confederate flag flying. And again, if it's flying, it's like, and I think South Carolina is the only state that still has the Stars and Bars.
Wrong. Wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong.
And we'll get into that in a minute. Because I wondered the same thing while I was reading about this kind of stuff. So I looked. It's 1 of 5. Well,
Okay.
it was 1 of 5 at this point.
Okay. And so again, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things, man, where you got some that are against it, some that are for it. But for me, I mean, the God and the truth is, Mike, like this, like it really doesn't. To me, it doesn't bother me.
Is there any particular reason why it doesn't?
Maybe because I grew up around it. It's just certain things. It's just certain things that just, and the flag being one. It's like I could have compassion for those that, that want it completely removed. And on the flip side, I mean, I could be like, well, I like I said, it's just one of those things. It just doesn't. The Confederate at this point in my life, the Confederate flag doesn't resonate anything to me. I mean, I already told you the other day, South Carolina was ass backwards. So, it really, at this point, it really has no bearing on, I mean, other than the historical standpoint, and that's pretty much it for me, dog. All
right. You're listening to Sports Kings Live. I'm Big Mike. The other voice that you hear is Rob Calloway, being heard via Spreaker.com and on the Spreaker app, for your Windows, Android, and your Apple devices.
What about you?
Yeah, I wanted to hear your perspective on it. Personally, the flag, it's like anything else. It's a symbol. And I